Hi, I'm Ricardo Green, Solutions Architect here at Fugue. Fugue puts engineers in command of cloud security with tools to prove cloud compliance, eliminate misconfiguration, and shift left so you can move fast and keep your data safe. I'd like to walk through using Fugue for two of those use cases. First, let's look at bringing your AWS environment into compliance quickly and demonstrating compliance to management and auditors at any time. Our next use case will show you how Fugue can alert you to misconfiguration in your AWS accounts. What we're viewing here is the Fugue UI. This is where you'll see all of your AWS accounts. Clicking into the visualizer will give us a visual view of that AWS account. So we get to see all of the associated connected relationships. There's even a compliance overlay which will alert you to any of the non-compliant evaluations. In terms of the compliance families that Fugue will allow you to select out of the box, they're listed here. You will also see Fugue Best Practices, which is not a compliance family, but a library of checks that Fugue created and included in our product, which will alert you to any misconfigurations that have been popularized by many of the breaches that have been publicized recently. You also see a notation here for custom rules. Fugue uses Open Policy Agent as our policy as code language, which will allow you to write your own custom rules. So you could have your own corporate governance or other policies that are important to you that you want evaluated as well. Looking in the visualizer, you will see it has the effect of the closer you get in, the more you zoom in, the more detail you get of the individual elements. Each element within the visualizer is clickable, so you can get additional details of that resource, giving you all the configuration information as well as an overlay for compliance as well. Clicking into one of the compliance symbols, you'll get drawn directly to the number of controls that have failed. You get an evaluation, so you actually get the rule language of what's being checked. Each one of these tabs here lists what that compliance family is and what the failure is within that framework. Fugue also gives you a view of those compliance policies laid out. So you have a detailed listing of the specific compliance families and a listing of all of the controls that are being evaluated. Any evaluation that comes up as false, you'll be able to click into that and see the affected resources. Here for this specific control, you see that the IAM role policies are affected, have full administrative policies that would render this resource non-compliant. You also have the ability to view these resources to view these evaluations by resource type. So if you have a specific focus within the organization, maybe looking at network perimeter, you would be able to filter by resource type, looking at maybe just your security groups or your VPC configurations. The last view here would have you looking at compliance by resource. Compliance by resource is actually the individual resources, so by compliance ID. You could also filter by tag to get a better view of individual resources that make up a specific application environment. The other use case we really highlight is the ability to baseline. So as we look at each one of those configurations, we have the ability to establish a baseline. A baseline is essentially telling Fugue, take a snapshot of all the configuration elements and then report on any misconfiguration or any drift, we should say. So establishing a baseline is as simple as a button click or an API call. Once you have established that baseline, you will then have a list of events. So the events are essentially triggered misconfigurations or configuration changes that have happened within that account. You will get all of that detail. This can also be sent to you via an SNS bucket. You are able to trigger scans really as you wish. This is set on a daily scan interval, but if you needed to condense that time period, you absolutely could. So we want to thank you for taking the time to get a high-level overview of Fugue. We appreciate you stopping by. If there are any questions or if we can be of further service, please don't hesitate to ask. We do have Fugue Developer. That is free for forever, essentially. Also, we have other licensing plans for smaller teams and smaller footprints. But again, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we look forward to connecting with you. Thank you.